The series begins with a scene showing Knuckles living peacefully with Sonic and Tails, where there are no threats facing the universe. However, Knuckles is not content with this peaceful lifestyle, as he is always seeking challenges and adventures. One day, workers were making repairs to Maddie's house, and Knuckles thought they were evil trying to break into the house. He attacked them one by one, causing them to leave the house angrily. Maddie tried to calm the situation, but she realized that talking to Knuckles wouldn't help, so she turned to Sonic and Tails to complain about his behavior. Sonic told her that Knuckles was taking some time to understand life on Earth, and that he would talk to him to try to convince him to adapt. Later, Knuckles was sitting alone under a tree with Maddie's dog, while Tails went up to retrieve the dog. Sonic began talking to Knuckles, trying to convince him to set aside his warrior persona and enjoy life on Earth, especially after defeating Robotnik and the end of the threats. Knuckles took Sonic's words into consideration and began thinking about them. The next day, Knuckles tried to add his own touch to daily life, so he built a throne on the dining table and declared himself the family's leader. He stated that anyone who wanted to take this position had to defeat him in a fight. He also turned the living room into a battleground, which annoyed Maddie. Things escalated when Knuckles captured the mailman, prompting Maddie to free him and confront Knuckles angrily, demanding that he stop his strange behavior. Sonic and Tails joined her to confirm that his actions were wrong. Knuckles felt uneasy after this confrontation, and as he sat alone, he had a vision of the leader of the Echidna. Knuckles asked the leader what he should do after returning the Master Emerald. The leader responded that he needed to adopt a disciple and teach him the traditions of the Echidna tribe to ensure its continuation, as he was the last remaining member of the tribe. The leader showed Knuckles a picture of someone named Wade and told him that Wade would be participating in a bowling tournament in Nevada and that he had special abilities. The leader encouraged Knuckles to train Wade, emphasizing that the fate of the Echidna tribe depended on him. The leader ended the conversation and left, while Knuckles vowed not to let the tribe down and to do his part to the best of his ability. While Wade was training at the gym, he was surprised to find Knuckles in the room with him. Knuckles said, "I'm going to train you to get you ready for the tournament." But Wade responded sadly, "I was kicked out of the team I was supposed to compete with in the tournament, and they replaced me with a little girl named Susie, who's 8 years old, claiming I wasn't strong enough." Knuckles reassured him, saying, "Don't worry, I'll make you a strong warrior." Wade agreed to the training and decided to face Susie in a bowling match to regain his spot on the team. The two set off in a car toward the bowling alley, but at the same time, a government agent named Willie B was closely monitoring Knuckles' movements. When she learned he had left Green Hills, she saw it as a perfect opportunity to capture him. Willie B decided to carry out the mission in complete secrecy without the government's knowledge. She disposed of her colleague by sending him to Mushroom Planet so he wouldn't reveal her plan. Then she contacted a gang leader named Roy, informing him that Knuckles was now alone, away from Sonic and Tails. Roy was pleased with this news because he planned to use Knuckles' strength for his own goals. Willie B promised to capture Knuckles within 24 hours, and Roy provided her with advanced weapons to assist her. Knuckles and Wade arrived at the bowling alley, and Knuckles was puzzled by the place, as he had imagined it to be a battleground. He tried out the game and threw a bowling ball, intending to knock down all the pins at once. Wade confidently said, "I trust your abilities." Suddenly, Willie B and her colleague Mason appeared, trying to capture Knuckles, causing chaos and destroying the place. Knuckles tried to defend himself, but Mason was using weapons that gave him strength comparable to Knuckles. However, Knuckles managed to overcome them due to his long training as a warrior. He succeeded in disarming them, but he was about to finish Mason off when Willie B suddenly opened a portal in the ground, trapping Knuckles in a cage. The agents took Knuckles with them and left, but Wade noticed Willie B's weapon left on the ground, so he decided to take it to rescue Knuckles. Wade followed the agents to a mansion in the middle of the forest, but he stopped first at a store to buy some supplies that might help him in the rescue mission. Meanwhile, Knuckles was asking Willie B, "How did you find my location?" She replied, I work for an organization that specializes in studying extraterrestrial beings. My goal is to extract your power and sell it, because it has immense potential that could be used to create powerful weapons. I know everything about your history. What Willie B. didn't know was that Wade was outside the mansion, armed with some of her advanced weapons. He tried to use them, but accidentally caused a massive explosion that destroyed a police car and some of the equipment he had bought. The agents heard the sound and quickly rushed outside to investigate what was happening. When the agents saw Wade, they tried to catch him. Wade seized the opportunity, using one of the tools left by the agents, and rushed into the mansion in a random manner. Mason, one of the agents, chased after him, searching while Wade hid cautiously. Mason noticed one of the gloves on the ground, put it on, and began hunting Wade, who was scared. Meanwhile, Willie B. was watching Knuckles in the cage. Just as Mason was about to capture Wade, he received a phone call from his mother and had to answer. Wade took advantage of this distraction, opened a bottle of ketchup, and sprayed it into Mason's eyes. Unable to see, Mason lost his balance and collapsed unconscious. Afterward, Wade ran to rescue Knuckles, throwing the glove at the cage to free him. The glove caused a massive explosion, destroying the mansion. Willie B. fainted, but Wade and Knuckles escaped unharmed. With no other way to escape, Knuckles tried to fly with Wade, but his ability didn't last long, and they both fell from a low height. They then stole a car and drove off. The two stopped to eat at a place. Wade felt proud of what he considered a victory, but Knuckles didn't share the same feeling, saying, "We didn't win today because we didn't face them face to face. We were just lucky, and worse, they managed to capture me, and that's because of your weakness as a fighter." Wade admitted Knuckles was right, but replied, "My dad taught me to enjoy every victory, no matter how small." Knuckles was convinced by his point and decided to continue his training. Meanwhile, Willie B. and Mason woke up and began planning to recapture Knuckles. They had no choice but to proceed with the mission, as they had signed a $1 million deal with Roy, the gang leader, to deliver Knuckles. They realized that if they didn't fulfill the agreement, they would have to pay the amount themselves, so they had to come up with a new plan. After Knuckles and Wade finished eating, they heard on the radio that the government was looking for Wade. Wade was shocked when he realized he could no longer return to Green Hills. He decided to find a place to hide and headed to his mother's house. When his mother arrived and saw him, she fainted from joy as she hadn't seen him for a long time. His sister, Wanda, who was a police officer, then appeared and always mocked him, belittling him by saying he was just a regular security guard in Green Hills. She sarcastically asked, "What brings you here? Surely you've done something wrong and now want your mom to help you." Wade felt embarrassed and tried to change the subject, introducing Knuckles to his family. When Wanda saw Knuckles, she fainted again, but later she warmly welcomed him into the house. She served them plenty of food, while Wanda continued mocking and annoying Wade, which led to arguments between them. Meanwhile, Wade's mother sat with Knuckles and started talking to him. Knuckles told her his story and the tale of his tribe, how he came to Earth to retrieve the Master Emerald and shared his battle with Robotnik. Wanda kept mocking Wade, saying, "You surely had no important role in that battle." Wade became angry with her remarks and responded sharply. She, however, became furious and jokingly stabbed him with a fork. Wade was deeply upset by her behavior and retreated to his room to isolate himself from everyone. When Knuckles entered Wade's room, he noticed the pictures on the wall, which revealed that Wade's father had been a famous bowling player in the past and was set to attend the upcoming bowling tournament. We also learned that Wade's father was estranged from the family and no longer communicated with them. Yet Wade loved him deeply and felt proud of him. Wade told Knuckles how he used to go with his father every Friday to the bowling alley, and how those moments were some of the happiest of his childhood. Meanwhile, a gang approached the house after learning about the large government bounty for anyone who could capture Wade. Wade sensed their presence, and when they broke into the house, he managed to fight one of them and hit him, but he wasn't strong enough to defeat him. Just before Wade was captured, Knuckles appeared and quickly intervened, delivering a powerful punch that sent the assailant flying away. Inside the house, one of the gang members attempted to attack Wanda with a metal chain, but Knuckles intervened again, countering the attack forcefully. After dealing with that person, he headed to the kitchen to confront 2 more gang members with Wendy's help, and together they managed to take them down. Although their mother's apartment was destroyed during the confrontation, Wendy felt happy because for the first time in years, she saw her sons united and defending each other. The next morning, while Wade was drinking his coffee, a person riding a motorcycle attacked him, dragging him along the road by his leg. Knuckles saw what happened, but decided not to intervene, believing that Wade needed to learn to rely on himself to become a true warrior. A few minutes later, Wade reached a secluded spot in the forest and discovered that his kidnapper was Jack, the captain of the bowling team Wade used to be part of. Jack used a stun gun to shock him and put him in a cage. When Wade regained consciousness, he couldn't believe that his close friend had betrayed his trust. Jack justified his actions by saying he was facing a major financial crisis and needed the prize money to pay off his debts. As Jack was about to take him to the police, Wade tried to contact Knuckles for help. But Knuckles told him, "I won't help you. You need to rely on yourself to become a warrior." Then Jack activated the electric cage, causing Wade to lose consciousness again. While unconscious, Wade had a vision of the leader of the Echidna tribe. The leader told him that a warrior doesn't just learn to fight with weapons, but also with the mind. Instead of training, Wade entered into a musical battle against Jack in the dream, managing to defeat him. When he regained consciousness, he was inspired with an idea on how to escape the cage. He tried to break the cage using wires, but was shocked again and returned to his subconscious to continue his training. This time, he managed to find an escape route through the ceiling. Jack noticed his escape and stopped on the road, offering Wade a challenge to a duel, where the winner would get to participate in the bowling tournament and the loser would withdraw. Wade accepted the challenge, and Jack gave him a sword to fight with, while Jack sped off on his motorcycle. Wade, who didn't have a vehicle, borrowed a bicycle from a nearby child and rode off to face Jack. During the fight, Wade attacked Jack, but only managed to cut a small part of his hair because Jack dodged the blow at the last moment. The battle between them wasn't just a test of skill, but also a test of intelligence and endurance, with each trying to prove their worth to compete in the upcoming tournament. After Jack fell to the ground and surrendered, he handed over his jacket to Wade and fled. Wade seized the opportunity, taking the jacket and motorcycle, and returned home. When Knuckles saw Wade coming back, he felt proud, thinking that Wade was now ready for the upcoming battle. The next day, Wade and Knuckles rode the motorcycle and headed to Nevada, where the bowling tournament was set to take place at the Reno Club. Upon their arrival, Wade was surprised to see his mother and sister, who had come to support him in the tournament. A few minutes later, Wade and Knuckles spotted Wade's father, who was extremely famous and well known to everyone at the venue. Wade desperately wanted to talk to his father, but didn't know how to start. Knuckles encouraged him and told him what to say. Wade approached his father wearing a headset, with Knuckles guiding him over the line. When Wade's father saw him, he didn't recognize him at first, prompting Wade to introduce himself. "I'm your son, Wade, the one you abandoned years ago." His father was surprised and said, "I missed you," and asked what he was doing here. Wade told him he had come to participate in the tournament. His father laughed mockingly, as he didn't believe that Wade could beat him. The people around them thought that Knuckles was just someone disguised in a strange outfit. Meanwhile, Agent Wilby and Mason were captured by Roy's criminal organization. Roy himself appeared, and it turned out he had previously worked with Robotnik. Roy decided to dispose of Wilby and Mason for failing their mission, but gave them one last chance to capture Knuckles in exchange for sparing their lives, with the promise of cancelling the financial bounty agreement. On the other hand, the bowling tournament was about to begin, with 32 teams from around the world participating. In the first round, Wade's team achieved a huge victory, which made his father, Pete, envious and resentful. Pete celebrated his victory loudly in front of the audience to show off his superior skills, while Wade was focused on proving himself to everyone, especially to his father. As the tournament progressed, Wade delivered an outstanding performance, making Pete increasingly nervous about the possibility of being beaten. The competition reached the final match, and the two teams that made it to the finals were Wade's team and Pete's team. For Pete, there was no way he could accept losing to his son. The night before the final match, Wade sat down with his father and asked him why he abandoned the family. Pete responded that he had been searching for achievements, but now regretted leaving his family. They shook hands and hugged, which deeply affected Wendy, who was watching the scene. Pete asked Wade to visit his room later to talk more. After this conversation, Wendy spoke with Wade, advising him not to let his closeness with his father hurt him again, but Wade insisted on giving his father a second chance. When Wade entered his father's luxurious room, he was impressed by the opulence and took a tour of the place. However, he was shocked to discover that his father had made a deal with the agents, Wilby and Mason. Wade shouted at his father, asking why he had betrayed him. Pete coldly replied, "I will not allow myself to lose in bowling to anyone, even if it's my own son," he added. "If you want to keep yourself, Wendy, and Wanda safe, you must hand over Knuckles to the agents and withdraw from the tournament." With no other choice, Wade went to Knuckles' room. Meanwhile, Wilby had initiated a call with him to ensure that he wouldn't reveal the truth to Knuckles. Wade entered Knuckles' room and lied, saying, "Come with me, I'll show you my father's room." Once they reached the elevator, Wade told Knuckles, "I forgot something in the room. I'll go get it. You go ahead and I'll catch up with you." Knuckles, unsuspecting of Wade's trap, agreed without question. Knuckles entered the elevator alone and ascended, unaware that Mason and Wilby were waiting for him at the top. As soon as the elevator doors opened, the two agents began shooting at him, but Knuckles was unharmed because he had hidden in the ceiling. Knuckles had anticipated this based on the conversation between Pete and Wade, so he was ready for the battle. Knuckles attacked his enemies with full force, while Wade entered the room to free his mother and sister. The agents couldn't defeat Knuckles, and Wilby tried to trap him using 2 rings, but Knuckles countered by striking the rings, causing them to bounce back at the agents. Knuckles remained clinging to the ceiling and managed to save himself, but the doors closed after that. Once the rescue operation was complete, the final match of the tournament approached. Knuckles told Wade, "Go to the tournament, I want you to win." Pete walked confidently in front of the crowd, certain that he would win the cup, as he believed that Wade had withdrawn. The announcers called for Wade, but he didn't appear. Pete declared himself the winner and raised the cup, only to be surprised by Wade's appearance. Wade said, "Put the cup down." This time, Wade was determined to beat Pete, who used all his skills to avoid losing. On Pete's first throw, he knocked down all the pins. When it was Wade's turn, he also knocked down all the pins, proving he was a strong competitor. Knuckles decided to follow the match on TV. Meanwhile, Pete heard a commotion outside the stadium. When he went out, he saw Roy inside a giant robot. Roy attacked Pete with an iron chain and with fierce determination. Back inside the tournament, Wade was close to winning. If he could knock down all the pins on this throw, he would win the cup. Despite the tension, Wade made a spectacular throw and won the match. However, just seconds later, the area began to crack due to the battle between Knuckles and Roy, causing panic among the crowd, who fled the venue. Roy dragged Knuckles outside while Wade went to save his friend, only to find that it was too late. Roy had drained all of Knuckles' energy, and after taking what he wanted, he threw Knuckles away. Wade found Knuckles unconscious. As Roy was about to kill Wade, Wendy and Wanda appeared and gave Wade the gloves. Wade launched bowling balls at Roy, but they didn't affect him. When the balls ran out, Roy moved to attack Wade, but at that moment, Knuckles regained consciousness. He grabbed the chains and absorbed all the energy from the robot, restoring his strength. Knuckles angrily attacked Roy, destroying the robot entirely. Finally, he threw a giant bowling ball at Roy, eliminating him. After the battle, Wade took the cup and celebrated with Knuckles, while Wanda and Wendy gave Pete a slap. Wade and Knuckles returned together to Green Hills, bringing their adventure to an end.
If you love movies and movie recaps, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more. Hit like if you enjoyed the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.